Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the fourth grade concept of multiplying by 10 or 100. This is standard 4.4b in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 12 of the 2024 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we've got first this word that we need to make sure we understand. What is the product of? So hopefully we know that when we are dealing with, let's just do a basic multiplication fact here, okay? These two terms that you multiply together are called factors. The answer to a multiplication problem is called a product. So when you are saying what is the product of, that means the answer to a multiplication problem of 476,500 and 100, that means these two are your factors. So do you think they're really asking you to do the standard algorithm vertical multiplication of this? Well, if you know how to do this, it could work, but honestly, it's going to be a lot of extra work, and it's not going to be that useful. So let me show you an easier way to do that. First, we need to figure out some patterns. So there are certain things that we need to understand when we are multiplying by either 10 or 100. So let's look at tens real quick, right? So if we take one 10, that's going to get us 10. If we get two tens, that gets us 20. Three tens gets us 30, right? I could skip down to 9 tens, gets us 90, and 10 tens gets us 100. All right, those are facts that we know. Take a look at this pattern that emerges when you multiply by 10. When you multiply by 10, right, you can just take the factor that's not 10 that you're multiplying by, and then you can add a 0, and you get an answer, because it's just 10 times larger, because we have a base 10 system. You can take the factor that's not 10, in this case 3, and add a 0, and you end up getting your product. Even with the two-digit number, right? So you have a 10 times 10, so take that 10, add a 0, right? And you get 100. So that works for tens. What we're going to find is the same thing works for 100s, right? So 1 times 100. 100 is just 100. Two 100s is just 200. Three 100s is 300. We can skip down to 9 100s equals 900. Now, 10 100s, you can call this either 1000. 1000 is correct because there's 10 hundreds or 1000. But let's look at that same pattern. Does it exist? Well, you can take this non-100 factor, so in this case 1, and you're going to add two zeros because there's two zeros in 100. And you get your product. You take your two zeros, you add it to the non-100 factor, you get your product. Right? So when you're multiplying by 10 or 100, you just count the number of zeros. When we're multiplying by 10, there was only one zero in 10, so we added one zero. Since there are two zeros in 100, you add that to your non-100 factor, you get your product. Same thing works with here. We have a 10. I'm going to add two zeros. That's going to give me 1,000. And if we were to multiply by 1,000, we would add three zeros. If we were to multiply by 10,000, we would add four zeros. You're just counting the number of zeros. So let's use that pattern. Let's extend what we have here. By multiplying by 100s, I want to do it like this. I want to do 476,500 times 100. Rather than doing it this way, let's do it that way. Well, what have we been doing? Well, we have been taking our non-100 factor, that's 476,500, and we've just been adding two zeros. Now, we are going to have to change where our commas go. So I got 476,500, right? That's my original number. Then I just added two zeros. Let's see where our commas go. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. So now I've got 47,650,000. All right, because I just simply added those two zeros. And it looks like we've got our answer right there at A.